Hi guys! So, it's Tuesday, duh, and it's Poetry Week. So, I am going to read some poems by Keats because I really like him very much. And the reason I like him is probably, it starts out being kind of stupid. I like him because I watched the movie Bright Star, because, Ben Wishaw's in it, and I really like him. And he played Keats. But once you see them, because I didn't really know anything about Keats, but once I saw the movie I really liked him, and I liked the poetry, because they read some of it in the movie. It's actually part of the soundtrack, which is really cool, because you can go on YouTube and look it up, and hear Ben reading some of the poems with music in the background, and it's really pretty. So, Keats, very good poet. His works always have this overtone of death in them, because he was sick a lot of his life and died young at the age of 24. By the way, Poetry Week, because it's Poetry Week, I decided to dress up a little, so looking classy for Poetry Week. The first thing I'm going to read is from his really long poem, Endymion. It's actually an entire book or something, and it got very bad reviews. It was one of his first attempts at being a poet, but the very beginning of it is very beautiful and well loved. So let's do that part. A thing of beauty is a joy forever. Its loveliness increases. It will never pass into nothingness. I'm just gonna stop there. It goes on. But I just like the part where a thing of beautiness is a joy forever. Its loveliness increases. It will never pass into nothingness. It's nice. It sounds very nice. Now I'm gonna read the entire poem of this one, because it's short. And this is actually one of my favorites of his. It's called When I Have Fears That I May Cease to Be. When I have fears that I may cease to be, before my pen has gleaned my teeming brain, before high-piled books and charactery hold like rich garners the full ripened grain, when I behold upon the night's starred face huge cloudy symbols of a high romance, and think that I may never live to trace their shadows with the magic hand of chance, and when I feel, fair creature of an hour, that I shall never look upon thee more, never have relish in the fairy power of unreflecting love, then on the shore of the wide world I stand alone, and think, to love and fame to nothingness do sink. I think that one sounds really beautiful and sad, and that's kind of his style, very beautiful and sad and thoughtful, because he was kind of dying most of his adult life, and he had this fear that he was never going to be the poet that he wanted to be. And that's basically, to me, that's what the poem is about, how he knows that he's gonna die and he might never make it to where he wants to be. Especially there's an aspect of romance in there with a line that says romance. But he also had a fiance and died before they could get married, so there was that going on too. Those are, that's my favorite, one of my favorite poems. I also like Bright Star, Would I Were Steadfast as Thou Art. I'm gonna read the first bit of that. I'm just gonna read the first bit of that. Oh, what can ail thee, knights at arms, alone and palely loitering, that sedge had withered from the lake, and no birds sing. And, hold on, then the last bit, just because it brings it all together. And this is why I sojourn here, alone and palely loitering, though the sedge is withered from the lake, and no birds sing. And basically throughout the poem it starts with he sees the guys there, and then he's like, oh, what are you doing there? And then it goes through this thing of how he falls in love with this girl, and she's well, it calls her kind of like a fairy in that, but basically it's a myth of falling in love with a mythical creature woman who ruins your life, and then the end is he's there too. It's sad. Okay. But it's very pretty. Yeah, that's why I really like Keats. He's my favorite poet of the few that we've studied in class. The other ones we've studied were Wordsworth, Coleridge, Shelley, and I didn't really feel it with any of them. Coleridge has that one good poem, Kubla Khan, which is just his poem of being on drugs. I'm not even joking. Like, his explanation for that poem was, I took some opium, fell asleep, and when I woke up I had all these lines in my head, so I wrote them down, but then I got interrupted, so now it doesn't flow as well as it should have. And that's the explanation for the poem. I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys have to read for us or talk about or whatever you're going to do with Poetry Week. But I like this. I like doing themes. We should do more themes because they're fun. Have a good week, all of you guys. I'll see you tomorrow, Haley. Bye.